Alright. Alright. So now that we have the weaving part done on this tank, it's nice and secure in there, nice and tight. What we're going to do is we're going to take the tank out. Now mine's a little stiff because there's a little bit of a kink there, and then this knot doesn't like sliding over it. But as you use it, it should get easier to put it in, take it out, and all the rest of it. So you can set your tank aside. Okay, you're done with that now. For now, you're going to want to open this up as much as you can, as wide as you can. You need to be able to get your hand in there. This is going to be the tricky part, because now this side of the plastic's harder to get to. You need to be able to run a needle through each of these holes multiple times in order to stick this on there. So what you're going to want to do is work one at a time. This is what I'm going to do, one at a time. And grab a piece of tape. And this is about a 12-inch long piece of nylon strap. But this and this are only about 11 inches apart, this row and this row. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this as close to the end. Now, a couple rows of material. See, the material has like lines in it. I'm going to set that a couple rows away. I'm just going to tape that right there. Okay. Tape it down. That's not going to be its final position. That's why I'm using masking tape. And I'm going to grab measuring tape and make sure that this is about 1/8 of an inch in from the side. I'm going to take this other end down. And double check my measurement. 1/8 of an inch in, because you want exactly 1 inch between the edge of this and the edge of this one. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to tape that right about there, looks about right. I'm going to measure about 1/8 of an inch, and then you'll notice that's pretty much an inch. That's an inch right there. That should be. Yep, that's an inch. And then tape down the other side, and just confirm. You're just confirming measurements right now. You're only going to work on one strap at a time, like I said. That's not anywhere close. There, and then I can tell that the important measurement right about there is about 1 inch. Okay, give or take, that's 1 inch. Okay. So the reason I want that is if I grab another piece of webbing here. Here's an offcut that I cut earlier. You want to be able to fit another piece of webbing between these two pieces of webbing. Right? This isn't going to be attached to the holder, this is going to be attached to your vest. Right? This is how MOLLE works. Right? So you want to be able to fit another piece of webbing in there. You want to have it away from the edges. My piece of plastic isn't actually completely 3 inches. It's 3 and about a quarter wide. So I set in I set in 1/8 of an inch, and then I have an inch in the middle. Right. So then I'm able to start sewing here. And the reason that even though these straps only need to be 11 inches long, the reason that they're 12 inches long is because I'm looking to compensate for the material that will be used up going around not only these pieces of paracord, but I also need to remember to leave enough room, or enough slack, I should say, that I can stick one of these guys in there as well. Right, so I'm going to work from one end down to the other, and this is not going to be overhanging the end of the piece of plastic. I suspect it'll be fairly close to that row of holes, which is right about there. So I'm going to set up my my thread needle, and then I'm going to continue the theme of this project, I'm just going to cut out the tedious stuff, show you how I'm going to thread one row, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the finished product and mounting it on. Alright, so I did the first row actually as a practice for myself. The important things I'm going to show you right now. First off, so you do the first one, couple rows of material in, and then you're going to want to stick in one of your mounting points, or one of your mounting whatever you're going to use to mount it. I'm using Blackhawk speed clips, so I'm going to stick one of those in there. Now what I do is double check. Yep, it's positioned properly. I'm going to grab my needle with the upholstery thread on it. Now this stuff's good because you can pull and yank and tug on this while you're sewing it all you want. You're not going to break it. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of people out there strong enough to just grab it in both hands and break it without hurting themselves. So that's good. So put that there. Piece of advice, use the tape to hold the end, the first end, in position while you sew it in. And then you just go straight down through one of your pre-drilled holes. Pull the needle through, and I'm just going to assume you guys know how to sew. I'm not going to condescend to you. So once you have about that much, I find myself makes life easier just to tape that loose thread, not there, but somewhere out of the way. So I'm going to tape it right there for now, out of the way. Pull this nice and snug. Grab my needle. Now, if I actually here, I'll draw it out for you. So the way I'm going to sew this, if I have this is my material, and these are the holes going through it. And there's the edge. There's the edge. Solid material. Solid material. Solid material. Solid material. What I'm basically doing is I'm going in this direction, out this direction, in this direction, and then without going around the edge of the material, I'm coming back through here again, and then I'll come back this way and do this, and I'll just repeat that over and over and over again. And then when I get to the very end, instead of going around here and tying it, I'll just come back around through the same hole, tie it up. Actually, I think I have an even number of holes, so it ends up finishing in the same direction that it went in. You'll see once I finish threading this. That's the basic idea. Just pull that nice and taut. Now I'm going to find the next hole. Right there. Just go straight through. Ow. Just jabbed myself in the friggin' finger. And once you get this first row, yeah, see, there you go. Once you get this first row done, it's a lot easier as far as like finding the holes and all that, because they're marked out. Hopefully you're a better sewer. I don't know what the term is. Tailor, whatever. Needle worker than I am. Right, pull that nice and snug, like I said. This is upholstery thread. If you got the same thread I got, they are not going to break it. You can pull and pull and pull all you want, you're not going to break it. You can feed it back and forth through the holes, it'll be fine. Okay? So I'm just going to set that down. Retape my loose end. I'm using masking tape. Duct tape would have probably been a better choice for doing this. This whole taping it down part. Alright. Keep them more organized. And good. Nice and snug. It'll get easier to snug it up as you go. Pull it through. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 2 more holes to find. Ow, just jabbed myself in the lip. Now don't do that part. Right there, there's that hole. Now I'm trying to avoid sewing to the paracord as much as I can. Nice and snug. And then that last hole is all the way back there. That's going to be a pain in the bottom end. Bit of advice. I don't know if I'm in frame anymore. Alright, bit of advice. Tape this fucker down because it gets annoying.
Language.
K-cap. Okay, so I'm going to look in here, find that other hole. Okay, there it is. Alright, so I'm going to have... So what I have going on right now is the hole is on the other side of one of these very taut pieces of paracord. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go straight behind it. Somehow, and then turn 90 degrees. There we go. So just kind of got to manhandle the paracord out of the way a little bit. And pull it snug. Okay. And then just repeat back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. When I tested it out before, these holes, these 2mm holes, are about big enough to fit 8 strands of this nice thick upholstery thread through. So if you do that, right, like now I'm going to come back here to the end of this, right here. I'm going to come through, pull the paracord out of the way, going past the paracord, right, and then I'm going to pull this all the way through. And I'm going to come back to the other side. So you can see there how there's no thread there or in there. So I just came out of that hole. I'm going to go through this hole. So it'll look something like that, where it's a solid line of thread all the way across. Nice, snug. And it might be hard to see on camera, I don't know, but I can see the end of the last row of threading, so I know if I put my needle there, it'll go right through the hole. And then I'm just going to keep doing this all the way down. And as you go, you're going to notice that it's going to start to get more and more difficult to pull the thread through. It's because the thread, where the needle goes through, the needle is actually wider than the needle for obvious reasons. Like I said, this stuff is really tough. You can yank on it. I grabbed a multi-tool with a pair of pliers. Just put those on there, give it a little tug. It will pull right through. You're not going to break this stuff. This is meant for like couches and that sort of stuff. So it's pretty tough thread. And then you can see that. Right, if this was the end of this section, I could just tie it there. I tied it there on that one because I started on this side. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to go like this, put it back through that hole, and then continue going back and forth. I'm going to be going back and forth about 4 times each section. So with this super tough upholstery thread that is also doubled over, because you double over when you thread through a sewing needle, these seams aren't ever going to break under normal use. So like I said, that's how you do that. I showed you how to do that. Just make sure you put your clip in so you know how much material, right? Do that for every section, going all the way down, and then repeat for the other side. I'll show you what it should look like when it's done, when I'm done, and then I'll show you the whole thing on the vest.